What's going on, everybody? It is 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and today is Monday, February, whatever day it is. What is it, 26th at this point?
Yeah,
And I'm Scott Schertzen, and that is Mr. Dayveonne Bussey, and this is Tales from the Film Set. We're going to be talking a little bit about Shogun tonight. We're going to be talking a little bit about something that happened quirky in the film industry last week. We're going to talk a little bit about our cash or trash. What's his face? Rob Manning should be on in a little bit. And right up front, should mention this right out of the gate, I am Scott, 31 out of 32 teeth Churchson.
Oh,
so at this point, we're going to have to run the entire show with that. I've been running the last few weeks with a temporary. The temporary has been damaged. I get the permanent one in about a week and a half. So until then, I'm going to have to sit there and be like, so. Any hoozles, yes, Mr. Buddy the Elf Manning has shown up as well.
Hello. Merry Christmas. Happy to be here.
I don't know, is it Russian Christmas?
Yeah.
In words of Buddy the Elf, you got to treat every day like it's Christmas.
I don't know. My grandfather used to actually pretend it was Russian Christmas at holidays and in department stores in order to get discounts. But he used to do that in April or May when the Christmas was not even around anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
But he used to say it was Russian Christmas to get a discount. So the store managers would just give it to him.
Nice.
I have a lot of stories in my childhood.
So, Buddy the Elf.
What's up?
So,
What's that in the background behind your head?
What are you talking about?
God. The Fate of the Furious? that is so absolutely Buddy the Elf worthy.
Yeah.
I don't remember that crossover there, where Vin Diesel's talking about Buddy being part of family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't got friends. I got family.
Yeah, family. Oh, God.
Family.
Film Theory did a video on that, too, about the CO2 emissions that are caused by the entire crew across 11 movies or whatever it is.
But he's got friends. He's got family.
Family. But, all right. So, like I said, we got a few things we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about Pentagon towards the end of that.
Woo!
But first, Ichiban Koreka Shogun desuから。そういうことで、Dayveonne Shogun miteruかね. So, you got a chance to actually see a preview of FX's Shogun, the fictionalized account of William Adams, who was the white guy that actually ended up becoming Shogun in Japan back in the 1620s, I think it was.
Right.
So you got a chance to see FX's first 2 episodes, I believe, of its 10-episode breakdown. So by all means, sir, the floor is yours. Thoughts, comments, ideas, compliments, or complaints.
So from what I found out about this show, this was done by Disney.
It is FX, so yes.
Disney, Hulu, and FX. And I'd like to thank all 3 of y'all for inviting me to this wonderful premiere. It was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The actual historic aspect, the whole story arc was phenomenal. I was told that they did do a store, they had an old series back in the day that was similar to this, but this was more groundbreaking, more edgier, more samurai, more chop, chop, chop.
Is that how it goes? Chop, chop, chop?
Look, I've never seen so many heads chopped off, arms, slices, blood.
So you're saying it's realistic towards, the use of a sword.
Correct. And story-wise, it was really good. For the 2 episodes that you are watching, it kept you entertained. It wasn't like a snore fest. It wasn't something. This is a series that will keep you interested in seeing more of. And big shout out to the guy that played Scorpion in Mortal Kombat. I forgot his name.
Yes, Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yes, Hiroyuki Sanada. I said his name right?
Close enough.
Okay, if I did, don't chop me up. But anyway, but he is a phenomenal actor. He did an amazing job with the series he did, as a lead. He is phenomenal. I like his work. I would like to meet this guy one day.
Okay.
Story-driven art. It's for the episodes for the 2 episodes, I really felt as though I needed more.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say from the episodes that they presented to us, I would give this 9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. Okay.
Because this was very interesting to the point that it kept you intrigued. So I would recommend this. Thank you, FX. Thank you, Disney. Thank you, Hulu.
And Fox 2 in general reason as well, too. So,
Yeah.
so
Thank you all for inviting me. Hope, this is a phenomenal series from what the episodes that was presented. Just continue on the arc. Like, this is really good. I will watch episode 3.
Okay. So cool. So I just put you in full screen. You're like, I'd watch episode 3, and then it just stops.
Yeah, and I'm drinking
It's okay.
the beverage that I'm not sponsoring.
So
Not yet.
exactly.
Yeah, not yet.
So
Yeah. So if you're watching this said company,
yes.
hit
Yeah.
up.
Can I sneak it in real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Mountain Dew Voltage.
Okay. Mountain Dew Voltage. Extreme Mountain Dew. It ain't your mama's Mountain Dew. Well, see, here's the thing. This is a little bit before your time. Day, you might sort of remember this.
Yeah.
But in the early 2000s, right about 2000, 2001, 2002, everything in its brother was extreme. You know, I mean, it was one of those things. It was extreme Coke, extreme combos. Corn nuts were extreme. I mean, even like Rice Krispies decided to go extreme because just having Rice Krispies, Snap Crackle Pop wasn't enough. No, you got to have extreme Rice Krispies. God,
Like, this poster is extreme.
mm-hmm.
Like, the art of this poster is phenomenal. I don't know, but
You got some
definitely
cool shit out of it, didn't you?
That's pretty awesome.
So, Scott,
Yes, sir.
Rob, Ryan,
Wait, is Ryan here?
well, if
In
he
spirit.
in
Oh.
spirit, so y'all three, if
Mhm.
y'all come by, it's yours.
Buddy.
Did you say if I come by? Is that a joke?
Yeah, if you swing by New Jersey via Arkansas,
if I just so happen to travel through the 7 layers of the candy cane forest, through the sea of the swirly, jorly gumdrops, through the Lincoln Tunnel just to go to your house, yeah, I'll pick it up.
Everything's okay, Scott?
Something smells like pot down in this room. I'm the only one down here. Why the hell does it smell like pot down here?
You serious?
Dude, I smell it so
Mary
freaking
Jane.
hard right now.
That's my favorite name, man.
Dude, I don't know if it's coming from outside or what, but holy
It probably
crap,
comes
it's
outside.
strong.
Or
It's coming from outside.
You know, I guess maybe it's coming from the pizza place next door because he's been known to do that. But it's like
Are
I'm
you
just thinking about
serious?
it all business.
Like,
Are you
we have the
serious?
munchies.
Dude, it is strong, Daddy. I'm gonna eat the munchies after this. Like here's in this case here, I'm really fortunate because I got a really nice basement here. You know, the ventilation isn't great, but I do have a little bit of creak through the window up top here. You know, so I gotta wonder what the hell it is.
I love Scott's randomness. I love it. I
Dude,
love
it's
it.
it's the ADHD, the autism, or whatever you
Right.
want to call it. So,
I love it.
dude, wow, fucking strong, man. Holy shit. So, but
Anywho.
so, all right, yeah. Talk amongst yourselves while I text my wife about this one, please.
All right.
Anyway, yeah. So, Shogun, you recommend it?
I recommend it. I would tell people to sit back, relax, and enjoy some. Oh, just another reminder, ladies and gentlemen. If you like subtitles, this is the show for you.
So,
If
my
you
wife will
don't-
hate the shit out of it because there's subtitles involved.
Yeah.
So it's actually authentic Japanese.
Yep.
But that's actually, I mean, wouldn't you better to have subtitles than for it to talk and not have subtitles so you know what it's saying?
Well, as opposed to the, everybody miraculously speaks English with an Asian accent thing.
Right.
I am Japanese, you can tell you.
I don't like movies. I forget what movie it was, but there was one, I think that was done last year, where there would be things you wouldn't understand because they didn't put no subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like, I prefer subtitles because you don't know the language. And you're
Yeah.
not trying to train yourself and try to learn without subtitles. So you need like a translator to get the understanding of what is being said.
Right.
Sure. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I would rather have that level of authenticity where you actually have, Japanese with subtitles than that, like I said, that terrible thing in there where they always just speak with an English, speak English with an accent and occasionally say things like, hi,
Oh, yeah.
I think we should go here.
Or
It's like, dude, no, all in or all out. I don't
I
care.
know him.
oh,
I know him.
So,
Sorry, I heard you needed munchies, so I figured I'd come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want
Okay,
to welcome
so-
back.
okay, so my wife says,
Ryan.
my wife thinks it's a skunk that's in the neighborhood right now. But I
I-
swear to God, it smells so much like pot
I
down
said
here
skunk.
that I swear I am
Well,
actually
that'd be
getting in
some
contact with it.
stuff, man. I don't know.
Dude,
Whoa.
it is so damn strong down here right now. It's hilarious.
But hi, Ryan. We've missed you.
yes, Ryan.
So, hey, anyway, so
Don't mind
like I
me.
said,
Don't mind yourselves. I'm just trying to
The
get
return of
contact.
it's okay.
Ryan.
You eat, we'll
Yeah, I'm
talk,
right.
I'll stink.
You're good.
So, like I said, holy shit, dude, it smells like ass down here. It's like somebody ate a beef burrito and just let it fry. Oh, dear Christmas on a
This show
stick,
has
man.
escalated
So-
so quickly.
But the show just went left field, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, my wife is right over here, by the way. I just want to point this out. So I want to see if she picks it up too. But dude, it is strong down here.
Like Mary Jane. Like that's my favorite name.
You can cross that way if you want. So anyway,
It's totally disgusting.
it is a skunk. Okay,
All
right,
I
cool.
did say a skunk.
okay. I did not think. Okay,
I picked it. It's the same smell that was a couple blocks away from the house when I was driving home, but
fair enough.
it's quite stronger.
Did you hear that, by the way? As validation, it's in fact a skunk.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I think the skunk
Thank you, boss.
died in our driveway because it's
And that's
She
not
thinks it.
good.
Yeah.
than it was a couple blocks away.
So
God's like, can you come smell this?
yeah, I was literally and then basically she's now part of the show.
I
Yeah.
Welcome.
Right. So anyway, all right. So Shogun, like I said, in this case, 2 episodes in, 10 episode, isn't for season 1 anyway. If it goes well, they probably will milk multiple seasons out of it. But good start for you as far as how that went. Again, credit to where it's due for the authenticity of it, as opposed to hiring. And this has always been my personal pet peeve. They have like legit Japanese actors in there,
Right.
as opposed to just the generic, let's grab an Asian person because white people can't tell the difference.
All right.
This is an absolute pet peeve of mine where it's like, this person's Japanese. Like, no, they're from Thailand.
Exactly. And I'm tired of the stereotypical like, oh, because they're Asian, they gotta be from this
Dude.
country.
Yeah, I know. Like my buddy Vincent Veloso, I think you guys know Vincent. He is Filipino, but he gets the Japanese roles all the time because he can actually use a sword. And because again, Americans can't tell the difference, Vincent Veloso plays Japanese constantly with an Italian last name. So, but anyway, so basically kudos to that. Appreciate that. Anything else on that before we move on to a couple other things that we got on the pipeline?
That's pretty much it. Just check out Shogun on FX and Hulu.
Nice.
If you have Hulu, check it out. But it's basically on FX.
Will it not be on Disney?
It probably won't go to Disney Plus, I don't think. That might be a little bit of a stretch there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a Disney project, so that's why I said that.
bro. Only reason it's not going to Disney Plus is because of the mature audiences of the product.
Oh,
Yeah, but they have that filter where you could put that your Disney Plus has to be 18 plus or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
Although I do have a question, and maybe Scott would know the answer to this, thinking about it. Considering the original Shogun back in 1980 aired on ABC,
Mhm.
does that mean that we could eventually see the rebirth of the original miniseries on Disney Plus or possibly Hulu?
Yes.
Maybe.
Well, who owns the
Mind you,
right?
for those of you who don't know, the original music series, which had Richard Chamberlain, otherwise known as Alan Quartermain, that was like 5 episodes long, and each episode was in itself like a movie. Like some of them were like 2 hours plus. That's how invested they were. This was like one of the biggest miniseries that was ever created for television. So
The
it makes sense to do it as like a 10-episode narrative that they may go into and have a second season of, but actually go ahead and like have the original show up. So this way you can play like, compare apples and oranges to it. I think that would be interesting because I know my aunt loved this. I know her sister, my other aunt, loved this when it was back on. I wouldn't mind checking it out, but I'd be damned if I know where I could find it.
There you go, Ryan.
We can look it up. We can look it up to find out if it's around somewhere. But the only thing I would say is that it might not generate enough interest by virtue of the fact that 1980 was almost 45 years ago. And nobody, I think, really remembers. The people that would remember Richard Chamberlain wouldn't necessarily use a streaming service anyway. My mother-in-law would know that series probably pretty well, but she would never use Hulu. Or
also, like big back when samurai movies were really coming into their own. Like, if you know, I think the lead was from Yojimbo. If you know anything about like samurai movies like Kurosawa's and stuff like that.
Sure.
These were actors that were from that time. They got like legitimate people. So I would like to, like, as someone who maybe sees something like this, maybe they saw The Last Samurai and got interested, or if they see this and they want to like really delve back a little bit, they can check that out too.
It's possible. I mean, listen, it might generate some degree of interest, but if anything, I would say probably would draw more interest to 2003's Last Samurai.
Yeah.
Because also Hiroyuki Tanaka was also in that, and of course Tom Cruise is much more bankable than Richard Chamberlain.
Right.
So
I'll be hating on Richard Chamberlain.
Listen, I'm not saying
He was the poor man's Indiana Jones.
Okay, I want to point out there was a movie years ago that I had done background on that was about 14 or 15 hours of sitting in an audience crying over a depressing movie, or basically a depressing play. And the play was the story about a girl who fell in love with her adopted father, played by Richard Chamberlain. That's what I remember Richard Chamberlain as, that movie.
Wow.
I think it was called
the judge from I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry.
I think it was called like My Forbidden Love or something.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Chamberlain was a heartthrob at that time, and to be honest, I mean, outside of Sonata, I don't think you really have a bunch of big names on this. So, I mean, this could be a star maker for sure, but
Sure.
I imagine it's going to have to really go more on word of mouth and on spectacle than any particular one star being the driving force of it.
Well, what's interesting about this also is between this and obviously, two Godzilla films, how much of an interest is there in return of Japanese actors to prominence in the United States?
I don't know. Who are we going to have in Godzilla, Kong, New Empire?
I don't know. We'll get into that one in due course, but
yeah, I mean, it's all about the projects themselves, really, whether or not they're going to use the person properly, or if it's just something that's kind of ham-fisted.
I mean, that's just pretty much all. Like, looking at the IMDb for Godzilla Kong, it's pretty much all white people. Wow! Oh my god, dude, it's like a Benetton ad.
Ladies and gentlemen, I love how Scott actually referred to people, white people.
Yeah, dude.
Oh no, we're honkies. Don't think we're not honkies,
dude. Listen, no joke. A job I had 25 years ago referred to me as Captain Whitebread. That was my nickname.
I realize that this caramel that I'm eating is probably the darkest thing about me right now.
Oh wow!
Listen,
and yet I'm still more hood than some people I know, so don't get it twisted.
If you look at the raggedy shirt, the hat, and the tooth right now, or the lack of it, I think I qualify as redneck here hardcore too. So.
Well, it depends. Do you have like the American flag anywhere on your body?
I don't believe so. Nor do I have a truck, basically, with like boot like women mud flaps, those naked women mud flaps on it.
Mud flaps don't matter. If you got the truck nuts, that's a different story.
Nah. Oh yeah, the truck nuts. Yeah, I forgot about the truck nuts.
I have the truck nuts.
Yeah.
And then Buddy the Elf is just sitting there, just like, I don't got nothing to say.
He's like, if anyone's gonna know about truck nuts, it's gonna be him over the three Jersey people.
I don't know what they're talking about. I'm just smiling and waving.
So anyway, all right, moving topic, I suppose. It is cash or trash time. I should break down exactly where things are at as far as how we've done so far, which I'm going to be honest with you, is not great. We have not been very good at this so far.
Okay.
Does anyone want to know where everybody stands?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
So far we've had 7 movies that I have the breakdown for right now. How many do you think? Oh, okay. First of all, let me ask you this question. Of the 4 of us, who do you think is currently in first place? And by the way, the only one with a record over 500 right now?
Wait, what?
Ryan.
Nope.
A record over 500.
Nope. Only 2 left, man.
Elf.
Nope. You only got 1 left.
Me.
Yep.
What?
We have 3 that were correct. You were the only one that has all 4. Has 4 out of 7.
What?
Yeah, because you got. I'm looking at this right now. You started out really good with January because you landed Beekeeper, Mean Girls, and ISS, and then you went 1 for 4 last month with Argyle.
yeah, Argyle was not good.
Yeah, Argyle. Argyle. Day and Rob got that one right, calling it trash because that was a $200 million budget and only pulled in 87 million. Now, keeping in mind in this case here, some of these numbers could
Change.
adjust ever so slightly depending, because like One Love right now, I currently have it as trash, but it's possible it might break over because right now it's $70 million, at budget. It's at 121 at the box office. So it is possible it might still clear, but as of right now, none of us got that one right.
Okay.
All of us picked cash. It is possible it might hit it, but it hasn't hit it yet. But yes, Argyle, no. Lisa Frankenstein, yeah, somehow I got that one. Madam Web, me and Ryan got that one. So I started out ass initially, going 1 and 4, and now I'm up to 3 and 4. So
I was gonna say, I know I'm the reason why Day changed his answer, because I
For
think
what?
originally we were trash on Madam Web, but then we changed our answer.
Yeah.
And
so he could have 5 right if he didn't listen to you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying here. So
Yeah.
So it's Buddy's fault.
It is
Yeah.
100% Buddy's fault. Yeah, but irrespective, he is still in the lead with a one movie lead at the moment. Going 4 and 3, while the rest of us are 3 and 4, and we have somewhere between 3 and 5 movies we're going to break down this time around. I do not have all budgets at this point, but I do have some of them. So if you guys are ready to roll, I can at least start with the first one on the list.
Really?
Dune 2.
Yep.
So
Cash.
the highly anticipated sequel comes in at $190 million at its budget, which means per cash or trash rules, it will have to actually pull in $380 million to be considered cash.
Cash.
I'm inclined to agree on that.
Which
May
one?
I ask what the first one made?
Say again.
Why are we? I was gonna say, may I ask what the first one did?
I'm pulling that up in a moment. That pulled in $434 million on $165 million. So it did cash, but not like a bombshell.
So
part
it should be said that when the original Dune came out, it was during tail end of pandemic.
Ooh, so
And it also came out later in the year, which means it was really only being pushed out more for awards contention, not necessarily for box office success.
Mhm.
So the fact that they're putting it out now because of all the times they pushed it back, it does say a different story. And mind you, the critics at this point are rallying behind this movie. My dude, John Campia, who I usually go to as far as punditry, always go. He commented, Oppenheimer should be thanking the Oscar gods that Dune 2 moved to 2024.
Mm-hmm.
That is how much people are loving it right now.
Right.
And mind you, we watched Dune on this channel.
We did.
And
it was definitely a movie.
we thought it was I thought it was a slog. All right.
I was so bored with that movie. 100%
it was so long paced. It was like, whew. But considering I think they maybe with a sequel like this, especially when you're still telling the same story from the first movie, you kind of learn to like, okay, this is where we should pick up the pace. this is where we should expand certain things. The first movie got all of the exposition out of the way.
Correct.
Mhm.
Now we have to see results. Even if we're getting new characters in, we still have to see results. So I think just from that fact alone, this movie will probably be a lot more entertaining than the first one was.
Correct.
And because it's part 2, I think people may have more interest to see where it goes anyway. Zendaya obviously being bankable no matter what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the runtime on this is 246.
Chalamet. I mean, he's
246.
coming off of Wonka doing so well. I mean, right now, Chalamet is a name.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're right. So as of right now, I'm putting my hat in for cash.
Okay.
Agreed.
So are we all in agreement that we're going to go with cash on that?
Unfortunately, I will go with cash, even though I have no tendency of seeing this movie because I haven't even watched the first part because I was not part of the Streampunk universe when you guys watched it.
Oh, really? Oh.
Well, I mean, you can still see it if you go on HBO Max and stuff like that. But
And this is a hot take. Not a Zendaya fan.
well, I get it. Zendaya is an acquired taste.
Safe. It's like she's like wine.
'Cause she's
I wouldn't say wine per se. She's kind of more of like she's kind of like, oh, what drink do I want to? I got to be careful here. What drink do I want to compare Zendaya to? Well, my bartending skills are formulating an idea.
Cognac.
I would compare her.
Irish car bomb?
No. That would be Brolin.
Brandy.
That hurt him or Florence Pugh, who's going to be in the movie too. No, Zendaya is kind of more of like Long Island iced tea.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, she's got a little bit of everything in her, but then when you're really experiencing it, all you're tasting is the sweet.
Hmm.
Oh.
Like her actions don't necessarily lay flat on you until after the fact.
Plus, there's
Right.
something Kahlua in it.
The one thing I know about Doom Part 2 is they're getting a lot of grief right now for their popcorn buckets.
That
And
reason alone will probably get some people in theaters.
What? Do you got the picture of the popcorn buckets?
Oh,
Well, we got pictures of the bucket.
Well, the buckets are, how do I describe this? Wow. Yeah, I don't know how we can really go and explain this.
Oh, well, just show it. The visual will explain itself.
yeah.
You know, I feel like some guy in a drunk scenario might use that for different reasons.
And I'm telling you right now, if throughout the month of March there isn't a hashtag Dunusi, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
The marketing is there.
Now, I guess my question is I don't know what to say, cornhole part of that thing. Is that all plastic or does that move at all or what?
You would have to stick your hand to get the popcorn.
Yeah, you
I don't
can't
think
put
the hand is not what I'm thinking some guys might do while drunk. You know, you've heard of putting a hole in the bottom of the popcorn bucket.
Well, now you just flip it upside down and you're good.
Oh God, this is going to be a thing, isn't it? Oh, God.
The benefit is, after you put your hand in there, the things will take all the butter off. It's like straining your hand.
Next topic. Oh my God.
I remember looking at that worm thing and thinking, God, that's a weird looking butthole thing.
And then when you look at it, that they made it into a popcorn. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine if you make another one for
No.
Beetlejuice too.
Shout out to
to be-
Ethan Trace,
no,
my
to be
TikTok.
honest
He's the
with
one that
you-
introduced this bucket. How I knew about this because he's like, God, no.
I'm like, yo, why? Oh God, the images. Oh my God. Yo, let's go to the custom-made Xbox Series S
Mhm.
Doom. Let's go to that, please, right now, because I want to get that out my head right now.
All right. So next movie.
Yeah, you're like quickly.
Trash.
Stuck in my head.
All right, so Kung Fu Panda 4, a movie that ironically enough, Jack Black said they would never do, that they were going to finish with Kung Fu Panda 3 and then be done with the trilogy, which has now become a quadrilogy because money.
Mm-hmm.
This guy right here is coming in at 95 million. Release date for this is March 8th.
I have to say cash.
I'm going to say cash too
I
because
want this to be trash, in my honest opinion, because I feel like there's no need for a fourth movie of this series. The series is done. They've done a TV show, even though ironically Jack Black did not voice.
Well, they've done multiple TV shows actually. Yeah.
What?
They've done more than one TV show.
Well, no,
there
I'm
was
saying
one Netflix.
But ironically, that wasn't Jack Black that voiced Poe. That's
Right. But I think the one that was on Nickelodeon that did have Jack Black.
Okay. So I don't know. I feel like they're just stretching, and maybe the fact because Mario did so good, they thought they would bring him back and do Kung Fu Panda 4 because the other movies have done successful in the past.
It's a good
and
point.
95's not too bad because this will be a child movie, so that means you're going to bring all your kids.
Yeah.
And at this point, you may not even have to see the other three in order to understand. It's a kids movie, and we don't got any kids movies in theaters right now.
exactly, and I agree with you, Elf, Buddy the Elf.
Yay!
Because of the fact that it's a kids film.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What other kids film is coming out this month?
Nothing.
So
I think the better question is, do you need to have a kids movie come out this month? Do you need for
in a sense,
you got spring break.
I'm going to be honest with you. No, Ryan, I'm going to be honest with you, not just because of spring break. It's because of the lack of kids films. This is the only kid film that actually came out in the beginning of this year. So technically, it's like the saving grace for children at this moment.
It would possibly work that way. And 190 million, I guess, roughly, you can make that work just again on the Jack Black ability.
I suppose from that aspect it probably could, but I'm not interested in this film, and for one reason only.
But you know what? It's not. It
Aquafina.
doesn't. Ryan.
Aquafina.
Ryan.
Aquafina.
Ryan.
Because she has a certain type of voice. I have
know.
to hear her and everything.
I remember the song from Little Mermaid.
Mermaid. I'm done with her.
Yeah,
Ryan.
Ryan.
Who are you done with?
I'm good.
Aquafina.
Who's that?
You don't want to know.
Nora from Queens.
It's like anytime you have something that requires voiceover of an annoying character, she is the one you call now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
As far as I'm concerned, her induction in any movie does not help Matt.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a carrying curse in some respects. What were the last few movies that Aquafina did?
Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid.
She was also in Fast X, wasn't she?
Let me pull it up because I'm starting to think that the woman might be like Melissa McCarthy, where it's just like no matter what you're putting her into, it's not going to work.
Oh,
like Ghostbusters?
We're gonna get to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire in a minute.
Wasn't that, or am I thinking?
Melissa McCarthy was in Ghostbusters 2016. Aquafina was not.
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about. Yeah,
for movies that were in theaters,
and that's
you had Migration,
was trash.
Mm-hmm.
Little Mermaid, Renfield, The Bad Guys.
Oh, I like that.
Pretty much her last good movie was Shang-Chi and Legend of the Rings.
And obviously that crushed at the box office and, badly.
Yeah, but that was more Simu Liu than I think it was her. But then you have things like Raya and the Last Dragon, SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, Jumanji, The Next Level. It's like it's a lot of middling movies. It's not really anything that pretty much stands out or does well. It's just stuff that kind of like comes under the radar, and her introduction, her usage, it never enhances the movie. This is just my opinion. This is just what I see. But the movie may make money despite itself, just because, yeah, like you said, Jack Black and Poe and everything. DreamWorks had this fascination with just keeping their characters running, as opposed to Disney, which is like a different movie every year. So for that respect, I will say cash, but hesitant.
Okay.
Cash again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anybody disagree?
No.
All right. So right now we have 8 cashes to start things off, by the way, gentle folks. So that'll be very interesting to see. At 190 million, I think it's doable.
Oh,
now
how that works.
We have to go to the next one. I don't know right up front, and I'm just going to put that picture there to keep it really safe. I'm not going to go into specifically on this, but basically Dayveonne's birthday movie.
Well, that's not the only birthday movie, but
yes, but the birthday movie we're going to be talking about right now, the American Society of Magical Hogwarts.
Okay.
What is your birthday?
The American Society of Magical Negroes.
Yeah. When is your birthday?
March 22nd.
Oh, okay, cool. I was making sure it didn't come out on my birthday.
It did not.
Trust me, it wouldn't.
Because mine's March 4th.
But no, in this case, March 22nd, Dayveonne's birthday, the release of the David Allen Greer Justice Smith movie, American Society of Magical. I do not know what the budget of this movie is, and I don't care. I'm going with trash straight out of the gate.
That quickly, huh?
We don't even want to see the budget?
I can't find the budget.
You can't find a budget. All right. I'm going to put my... No, let me wait until Ryan and...
Okay.
Buddy would like to check. You said it comes out the 22nd, right?
Yes. Now, keeping in mind that Lisa Frankenstein had a budget of $13 million and still that ended up being trash anyway, because it didn't even make that budget back. I don't, like I said, there's also another reason why I feel this movie is not going to do well. Because it's going up against something else that we're going to be talking about in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna have to say, if anything, I think it should have been playing this month.
Right.
Because then I think it would have been right up there with
Black History.
Oh yeah. Oh, that would have been smart. Yeah. Why didn't we do that?
I have no idea.
Dude, you'd think you have a window right there, man. Holy crap.
So my question is, where is this even playing? Because I know it's definitely not playing in my town.
I don't know.
It says select theaters March 15th. So
well, it's definitely not.
Based on that, it'll probably get expanded.
So therefore, because it is only going to be at selected theaters, I think it will be trashed too.
Yeah, see, by me, I have the only one I have is Paramus, and then I have to go all the way to Nanuet or South Plainfield. And then after that, Mohegan Lake, New York. Oh my God. Whoa.
So trash for limited theaters too.
Trash. Not because I think there'll be a bad movie.
It's because of the competition that they're going against.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, of all the movies we're talking about for this month, it is the only real original movie. Everything else is a sequel.
Yeah,
that's true.
But
and this one is taking a risk going against this particular film that we ain't going to discuss yet until it's time. I was going to say cash until y'all brought that up, and I had to really think about it because first and foremost, they didn't say they have a budget, and then not only that.
So that only
The positive about it is the title.
Mm-hmm.
The issue right now is their competition, which we're going to be heading towards next. Is
Yeah. Oh, was that a cue right there?
yeah,
That's been trying to get away.
we get a call.
Ghostbusters
This is
Frozen.
automatic cash.
This
You
will
know.
be because I saw the first one for free at New York Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
Automatic cash because they're bringing back the original cast.
Well, they had the original cast in the original too, but
Yeah,
They're bringing back all the cast, everybody except Rick Moranis.
Well, yeah.
which you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's possible he's going to show up for a cameo.
I would love that if that's true.
I suppose.
I will flip my head. He is a national treasure.
Wait, what did you say?
I can see Rick Moranis, Louis Tully making an appear as a cameo.
Well, wait, hold on.
Kids are grown up now.
Okay, buddy.
What?
Do you know who Rick Moranis is?
Yes, and I know the story of why he stopped. I grew up with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Thank you.
We
very
all
much.
did.
Well, Ryan thinks I'm just young.
Ryan has not forgiven him for his lack of knowledge on George Carlin.
Yeah, somebody that's old and I don't care about. No, I care about Rick. No, and I know his story about why he had to stop being an actor, but his kids are grown up now, so that questions that he could, come back.
But here's the other kicker. Y'all heard the story of what happened during the pandemic with him.
Yes.
No.
Oh, go ahead, Day.
Okay, so during the pandemic, he was minding his own business. I guess walking around New York City, I guess heading home or something. A mugger attacked him. And
is he okay?
Yeah, he
yes,
good. But there was a lot of outcry of getting that whoever that mugger was because there was
Rick Moranis.
Yeah, that's a national treasure. You do not touch Rick Moranis.
Right.
That's like if you tripped Michael J. Fox.
If you see, by the way, if you see it in the top right there of the screen, that's Rick Moranis as he gets clocked right there.
For no apparent reason.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
It's like someone tried to do knockout game on him.
It is a knockout game. But yeah, you can see.
Well, no, usually for a knockout game, you have other people around you. This guy played solo.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rick Moranis took himself to the hospital.
And the guy, I'm sorry. And I want to say this. Whoever the guy was, and I put my hat out there. Go back to the video.
Oh, all right. Hang on a sec.
I don't know if he got caught or not, but trust
he
did. He did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the internet made sure he got found.
Yeah. Because trust and believe, if it was done in front of me, we would have went blow for blow.
Yeah.
I would be in jail now for what I would do to him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the internet made sure because Rick Moranis is one of Hollywood's good guys. And his decision to quit the industry at a high point pretty much in his career and walk away for however many millions upon millions of dollars to raise his kids after his wife passed, is a very human thing to do.
Right.
And
humble thing.
And it was one of those things that was very respectable. And I don't think anybody really gave him a hard time. Now, having said that, he has made the occasional appearance in certain things. He showed up in Big Bang Theory. He showed up in a Mint Mobile commercial. So he has been known to make appearance. The show with Jeff Garlin. He showed up as Dark Helmet in one episode too.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if Rick may have seen the Ghostbuster before this. I'm pretty sure that would have probably, if the fact that they did make, I know the characters are supposed to have more than just the cameo in this now for the Frozen Empire. It would make sense if they went ahead and got Rick and made it. If they get Rick, this is total cash.
William Atherton's back in it now too.
Now,
with Walter Peck.
I will say this. Would it be interesting if they showed us or introduced us with a certain group of Ghostbusters as cameos, but would be the new cast members?
Are you talking 2016 or are you talking Extreme Ghostbusters?
Extreme Ghostbusters.
The Extreme Ghostbusters is considered canon to the universe, yes.
So
You know.
it will be very interesting if they show us the people that will be taking over, or so-called the Extreme Ghostbusters make a live action cameo in this film.
Kind of like Dungeons and Dragons.
In some regard, yeah. I mean, there's been some talk about an Extreme Ghostbusters. It's funny because Extreme Ghostbusters was offbeat, but it worked. You know, it was unique in a lot of ways, but it was actually very impressive and great for its time. For again, that extreme era that was the late 90s, early 2000s. But irrespective of that, unlike certain other reboots like The New Adventures of He-Man or New G.I. Joe, Extreme Ghostbusters worked, and it was an enjoyable series.
Mm-hmm. So
I
I
don't
will
think doing it.
Huh?
Only because if they were going to do that, then we would have seen some reference of it in Afterlife. The fact that we only saw what we saw and all of it was really connected to the first two live action movies shows that they're trying to stay within that continuity.
But it is
Dean probably wouldn't have still been kind of lovelorn over Spangler.
Yeah.
Dude, what they did for him at the end of that was glorious. Dude, I can't watch that and not cry every time I watch it.
And I got the Funko Pop of Spangler.
I've got the Funko Pop of the kid. I can't.
You got Finn and you got the girl.
No, the other kid, the nerd one.
Podcast.
Yeah.
The what?
Podcast.
Yeah, podcast.
Yeah, okay.
So
you're my subscriber.
So what was weird is, and I kind of interested in to see how they do him in this movie is. So I met Podcast at a con.
Okay.
But
Logan
part, it took like 5 years for the first Ghostbusters, the Afterlife, to actually come out. So he was not an 8-year-old kid. Now he's like 13. This was about 2 years ago. The kid is a lot older, so it's interesting. Like I said, I wouldn't have recognized him if he didn't have his banner saying he's Podcast after just watching Ghostbusters and then going, because this movie was supposed to come out, but the pandemic happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm sure with the sequel, they'll probably do some sort of a time jump to explain the growth of these.
That's what I think we'll get. Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting because he's like taller now and,
Yeah. Finn keeps growing. He's turning more and more into Dan every day.
So I think I am 100% seeing this in theaters. This may be the only movie I go see in theaters this next month.
Mm-hmm.
This is coming out the 22nd, you said, right?
Yes. Alongside the other movie we just discussed.
Yeah.
I don't have a budget on this one, by the way.
So Rob's not seeing anything for his birthday. That's fun.
I'm going to try my best to see this, and I'm going to call it cash, regardless, whatever the amount is. But I'm going to try to at least. I must. So for 2024, I did say I have to go to the red carpet premiere for Deadpool's Wolverine. This right here is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I have to.
Mm-hmm.
If you go, I'm gonna.
Okay, it's a must. And even if I have to wear a suit for this red carpet, if they say, "Yo, we want you at the red carpet," I will wear a suit. And Ryan and Scott and Buddy the Elf, if you can make Buddy the Elf come, cool. But Ryan, Scott, you're coming. You got it,
dude.
I'll take it. Hold on, I'll do you one better. If you figure out something that we can get to go to the red carpet and Bill Murray's there, I will get a plane ticket. I'll figure it out. I'll go.
I'll throw you in the basement down here.
I'll quit my job.
One more thing aside that I wanted to bring up about this movie. Scott, if you can you pull up the Slimer popcorn bucket that is being sold out for this movie?
Yeah,
I know they're doing two. I think they're doing the ghost emblem from the Ghostbusters, but they also have a Slimer popper
Yeah.
for the
I
popcorn.
kind of wish, but in a way, I wish we didn't know Slimer was going to be in the movie.
Why?
But it makes me more excited too because Slimer's back.
Oh, at Cinemark.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah, let me give you one better. Let me see if I can get you a better picture here.
Yeah, it's in a plastic. It's in a plastic.
Hi.
And a
No,
plastic.
but it's having like
Item.
like that. That's not even like a Slimer. That's a cartoon accurate Slimer. Just oh, look, that is just perfectly made. I might have to go to Cinemark.
I'm
and
liking
say,
this right now. It's a must-have.
That is a must.
I like it.
Who you gonna call?
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
I like it a
That's
lot.
the only reason I want to go opening day, just so I make sure that I get it before it goes out.
Yeah, that's a good budget.
Yeah.
By the way, but off topic, but were you aware this was a popcorn bucket also?
No.
Probably because no one bought it.
Probably. I'm gonna say probably because nobody cares about it.
Okay, I just stumbled upon that just now. So, all right. So, final judgments, young people.
Cash.
Cash. But that's going to make the next one really hard.
By the way, Day, I forgot to ask you. So we have all cash on this one too. The previous movie that's coming out on your birthday. Your opinion, cash or trash on that?
He said,
I'm gonna say trash on a but almost. I'm gonna say almost cash, but not. But pretty
Not
much
enough.
trash.
well, I don't know how the movie can make cash if it's not in a lot of theaters.
That's a fair point.
Yeah,
Well,
so
again, if it's low enough budget.
but that's why I'm saying.
Unless the actors are doing it for free.
Well, that's
You
the
mean
thing.
like how I saw Battlefield Earth back in the day?
Just,
We ain't gonna talk about that film. Jesus Christ. Dag, I can't believe I'm doing this voice.
Gary Anthony Williams, man, I would love to hang out with you.
Oh,
But again, with all the caches that we've talked about in this one little month, that is going to make the last movie very difficult to figure out because
when does it?
it's at the end of the month.
Oh,
Yeah, but I mean, listen, you give it a
Cash.
couple of weeks anyway, you know.
wait, Godzilla versus King Kong, the new Empire?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's gonna be cash, bro. It's gonna be cash, bro.
No, he's
You're
saying
talking about
is you got.
cash, bro.
He's saying you got two big ones that it's gonna be basically Ghostbusters versus King Kong. Basically,
Quite literally, yes. That's where I'm going to go with this.
I want that crossover.
picking up money as well.
Can we have that crossover? Ghostbusters versus
But it's-
Godzilla versus King Kong.
Hold up. Buddy there. Is it coming out on my birthday?
No.
No,
Okay.
it comes out-
Coming out the week after.
it's
Okay,
still coming
so-
out the week after. It's still
So guess
competing
what?
against each other.
Because you got people that's going to see Ghostbusters first.
Yeah,
And then the next week they're going to go see King Kong versus Godzilla.
possibly.
No, they are. They are. Because you want
The
to
only thing I want is now I want a live action of the comic books they did, King Kong versus Godzilla versus the Justice League. It's actually a really good series. It's
Okay,
a comic book series.
Ryan,
Yes.
on that note, I'm Dayveonne. That's right.
What?
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
First thing I looked at was how much time we're at this one. Yeah,
This
here's
is,
the thing.
cash.
Godzilla versus Kong is coming in at 155 mil. I feel in some ways this movie might actually do better week 2 than week 1.
Right.
You know, spread it out just a little bit. I'm a little surprised they've decided to make this one back to back with Afterlife. I'm sorry, Frozen Empire, given how good the first how surprisingly good the first Ghostbusters movie was.
May I ask a question before I totally go cash? What comes out the first week of April?
Good question. I was thinking about that myself. Let's see. We have Paint, that Bob Ross thing. Looks like.
That's going to be trash a little bit.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. No, hang on. It's got the wrong. 2024. There we go. Okay. So what do we have? We have Someone Like You coming out on April 2nd. That's not going to be a problem. The Tier Smith, Monkey Man, First Omen, City of Dreams, The Beast, Housekeeping for Beginners.
Monkey Man is going to be cash.
don't even know anything about Monkey. So Monkeyman.
There.
So suffice it to say, the second week that this thing is open is not going to hurt it much.
So basically, okay. So then, then I will go ahead and say cash. Go ahead and write me down for cash.
Yeah.
It feels too easy.
Too easy to write cash.
Dude, everything is known as cash here with the exception of the one movie. We're all, what it is?
I think everybody has money right now. That's all.
Well, no, you know what it is? There's no differential because all of us are literally in agreement on every single thing all the way through, with the exception of whatever may come from this one between Ryan and myself.
Right.
You know what? Just for the sake of being different.
All right, I'll go in on this. I'm gonna say trash.
Same
for New Empire.
Oh,
what?
For Frozen Empire?
For Godzilla vs. Kong, I'm gonna go trash.
I was about to say, like,
Frozen Empire. No. I have my biases. But
I'm sorry that you'll be wrong, Ryan. I'm sorry.
No, because here's the thing. Now, Godzilla vs. Kong, it was an exciting movie. Again, came out near the end of pandemic when movies was just starting to roll out in the theaters and it was being okay to it was one of the first movies that people can actually say, okay, I suffered through pandemic. I'm going to go see this. So that was part of the draw of that particular movie. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, the movie itself was just kind of mid.
Yeah.
From a narrative standpoint and everything, it was just kind of like basic. And unfortunately, since that time to the point where we are getting the sequel now, we've also had Godzilla -1, which by many people's standards is the best Godzilla movie ever made. So you can best believe there are people that are going to hold New Empire under a microscope compared to -1.
But would that generate more interest in Empire?
Yeah. That would put more interest.
Would that generate?
Why do we keep saying Empire?
If New Empire is not as good as -1.
Wait, is this called New Empire? No, it's called
Rob, let him finish.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying if this movie is not as good as Godzilla -1, from not even just an aspect of computer animation, because it looks fine. They're doing the same stuff they did with Godzilla vs. Kong. But if this doesn't hold a candle to what you already have, that some people said it should be Oscar nominated, it's going to be a disappointment for people.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, whereas the other ones, everything else is a sequel, yes, with the exception of American Society. So you're always going to be comparing it to the movie before. But this, not only are you comparing it to Godzilla vs. Kong, but now you're comparing it to something that has been lauded. That is a high flag to raise. And I don't know if it's necessarily going to get there, especially with so much banger stuff that is coming out in the month of March prior to it. Now, yes, spring break will probably play well into it, considering it's a month end of March. You have Easter weekend coming up. People will be off. But I can't imagine that the budget for that thing is less than it would be for Ghostbusters or for Kung Fu Panda. So the fact that it may not necessarily make its budget back is very realistic compared to all the other movies.
I'm going to throw something out there out of left field on it. I was originally going to go, different, just say trash, because like I said, we've been uniform all the way through, and it's been, honestly, I want a little diversity here. I'm going to stick with trash on this. I think it's going to be very close. I mean, it might, on 155, it might pull in like 303, like right on that cusp. But two things of interest in here that it hasn't been mentioned that might hurt it a little bit. It's not going to help it. Definitely won't help it, but it might hurt it. It is both the start of the Major League Baseball season and also the United Football League is starting that weekend as well. It's not going to help it. It could hurt it a tiny bit.
There would be enough distraction.
Yes.
Yeah. Could it help it if, hear me out, if what you're talking about, how they do advertisements, if they partnered up with the Godzilla movie? I'm not saying it would happen, but we've seen.
It could, but it might be one of those things that it might be too late.
Okay.
Because if you look at a lot of what the advertising they did with, like, for example, Smile, they had those people sitting in attendance there, creeping everybody out, but it was weeks in advance. Those robots that they had at like the the LA Rams games. Those robot robot audience, that was weeks ahead of time. This is coming out right on the spot, so it might not be beneficial for there. Again, I don't know if it's going to hurt it much, but it's definitely not going to help it in any way.
I may change my mind once I see what popcorn bucket this movie has. Like, if you give me a popcorn bucket with like Godzilla just holding the thing and it lights itself up all the way from the tail to the mouth.
What if you get 2 popcorn buckets, one Godzilla, one Kong?
Oh, you would have to.
God, don't tease me like this, all right?
Or have them both like this.
Stop it. Stop giving me hope. Because when it doesn't happen, I'm going to be very upset.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. So,
But Ryan, wait.
For the fact that there is no movies to basically compete with it in the second week, I believe this is going to be cash.
Right, but that can also play against it too, because if nothing's going to play into it afterwards, if no one's anticipating where they have to go for the next weekend, then they can be like, oh, well, we don't have to go now. We can go next week. And then just keep pushing it off and off and off until the next big movie comes.
or they just sit there and be like, you know what? I'll wait till June when it comes out on HBO Max.
Exactly.
You know, the Marvels is already on Disney Plus because that's part of what hurts the box office right now.
Right.
Is
Which
the fact that you just sit there.
Now that everyone's watching on Disney Plus, everyone's loving the Marvels.
Well, because they don't have to spend money at the theater for it.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I mean, here's the other thing. There was a memo that went out recently where an unnamed executive at Disney blamed the audience for not going to see the movies.
Yes.
They didn't blame the product. They blamed the audience goer for not going to see it.
For the Marvels.
It was a few different. Marvels was in there and in Star Wars movies as well. You know, and the fact that again, you're sitting there, they're like, well, they don't like, female led movies. That may be true, may not be, but you don't blame your customer base.
No.
Right.
You don't Walmart would never be dumb enough to say, you know what, they would never be dumb enough to be that polarizing. No restaurant would do that. Olive Garden is going to be like, you're not coming here and eating our breadsticks because you're stupid. Microsoft won't do that. Apple will not do that. I mean, Apple makes, I think last year made like $358 billion. You know what they didn't do? They didn't get political. They didn't blame their customer base. They just basically now, they have ads out there with trumpets about iPhone 15. They're staying out of it.
Yeah, they're not complaining about Argyle.
No.
And that's
they have a new series with Jessica Chastain called The Savant. I don't know if this show is going to do well or not, and I don't think Apple really cares. They're paying Messi $53.7 million this year, or Miami is.
Morning show, they're good.
Dude, yeah. Severance season 2 is coming out. Ted Lasso rumors there's going to be a spinoff coming. Shrinking, which was a fantastic series, very underrated series. Harrison Ford deserved, I think, an Emmy nomination for Best Supporting for that. That's supposedly coming out with season 2. There's enough out there, and Apple makes enough money with the iPhones that they don't really care one way or the other. But you won't see them pull the thing where it's like, well, basically people buying Androids because they're stupid.
But you can't blame the product. I mean, the product can't blame the fans. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Correction. Because guess what? That's your audience.
Yep.
Just like, and I think that's one of the biggest problems that we have right now, because a lot of people like pointing the finger. I mean, a lot of companies like pointing the finger at the fans, but those the people you want to bring to get your product or watch the product.
Right.
You blaming us for not support means you got to do better in whatever your product it has to be.
Yeah.
Right. Or you blame.
We just had a meeting on this yesterday about what needs to be done better.
Right.
So
it's like, but let me put it to you like this in Christmas term. When a kid does not get his present at Christmas time, does he blame himself because obviously he was on the naughty list? Or does he blame Santa for not coming and giving him the gift?
I know him. Sorry. And we blame Santa.
But realistically, and that makes a lot of sense with society. A lot of people like pointing the finger at Santa, but not pointing the finger at themselves. Matter of fact, you got 4 fingers pointed back right at you by you using that one index finger.
Yep.
Technically 3 fingers because the thumb is also pointing in the same direction.
Well, Yeah, you got 3 more fingers pointing right back at you. Majority rolls.
But
And on that funny note, all right,
Yeah.
are we getting into the final bit? Because I really want to hear about this story.
Which story?
what Pensacon or what?
Pentagon.
Uh-oh.
What story are we talking about?
Buddy,
Story
give
are
me
we
your
talking
give me your
about?
thoughts top to bottom about what happened with Pensacon. You have the floor, sir. Say whatever you feel.
I can say whatever I want.
Yes.
I actually, you know what? Give me a second. Let's do this. There we go. The floor is yours.
You're on camera.
This is your tale from the set. Go.
So I'm being 100% honest. I will never be doing Pensacon again. As a person that has went to many conventions, streaming from Fan Expo to Dragon Con to Rhode Island Comic Con that I've complained about, Rhode Island is a masterpiece compared to this one. And I didn't like
Wow.
Rhode Island. What I mean by that is the
Ryan
setup.
is eating popcorn on this one. He's doing the Michael Jackson gif right now.
So Rhode Island, I kind of had a
I didn't know it was
problem
gonna be this juicy.
with it. Rhode Island, you had like 3 different layers, and then you had to go through like the 7 layers of the candy cane forest all the way down, and then all the celebrities are down there. So it took like 20 minutes to get there. I had a problem with that originally. But this con, you go up to the 2nd floor. You got guests over there, guests in a room here. You can go check the next room. You find out there's guests there. There's no signs saying where these guests are, or that there's even like I thought the room that I walked in was an exit, and find out there was some Star Wars voice actors, and one of the guests that I needed was in there. Didn't even know. Then you had to go all the way down a hallway, and then there was more people. And then to begin with, it took an hour to get into the convention because I had this ring light. Because we're supposed to be doing press, they would not let me go in with my ring light with my tripod because I don't know. They're like, you can't go into the con. I had to call people. Took an hour to get in, and I really hated the layout. I love my conventions. Almost got because it sounds like y'all know I almost got kicked out of the convention.
Now why?
Explain.
Because of a certain manager. I don't want to per se say names because it could affect different conventions, but there is a certain manager of a certain character I love that the manager did not like me at the end, and it almost was the scene in Elf where I would have been escorted out, and then I could have said the line, "These guys are tough," but we did not get escorted because Buddy followed procedures and walked away and tried to do it at a professional level without making anybody mad. So now let's talk about the positives. Positive. There's a video on our YouTube channel, Streampunk Cinema, of me yelling, "Santa, I know him," with Faison Love. That is on the YouTube channel, so check it out. He is one of the most down-to-earth people that I have ever met. He took his time for his fans. I got to hear people say, that went up to him and said, "You're the main reason why we're here, and you're better. Your personality is better than other people here. You're actually welcome." And what were you saying, sir, Ryan?
No, I'm not saying anything.
I thought I heard it back. I thought I heard somebody say something. My bad. So
I leave all that to Kat. If he wants to talk about Faison Love, he can go ahead and do that.
Yes, Faison was amazing. Besides the end of the con, he himself is amazing. And I loved him, and it was a really good experience when I first met him. We'll go with that. And they had a lot of good guests there. Mick Foley was awesome as always. Got to meet Lou Ferrigno. Got to meet all different kinds of people that you don't normally get to see. What I will say as if you were to go to this con next year, you just need to prepare yourself for a lot of walking. And I don't suggest getting a VIP badge. That was kind of a joke because even though I had a VIP badge and I was supposed to cut lines, I went to whoever's managing the line. I'm like, hey, I've got a VIP. They're like, we don't care. Go to the back of the line. And you paid an extra like $150 to be able to cut lines, and that's why people pay the extra money. And they're the only con that I've been to when you have a fast pass that don't put you in front of the line like you're supposed to. So that's just and there are other cons that they can learn from, like they're literally in Florida. You have MegaCon. I mean, MegaCon is a beast in itself, but at least they know how to manage their stuff. But anyways, when it boils down to it, it was worth the 11-hour drive.
Poof.
I did drive 11 hours. I got back at 1 o'clock this morning. Didn't go to bed until about 2 or 3, and then had to go to work at 9 a.m. this morning. So we're very dedicated. It was a good trip overall.
Good. I walked through Queens. I need a nap.
And then we have a con coming up in 2 weeks that we'll be hearing this week if we're doing press or not. So,
Buddy the Elf,
yes,
aka Rob Manning,
yes.
You drove 11 hours
For Phase on Love.
for Phelan Love.
Yes, sir.
Drove 11 hours back home.
Because of Phase on Love.
All right. And what time you went to bed?
We left at 1, got home around 12 or 1, and then I couldn't go to bed right away.
That's understandable that way. But...
I went to bed about 2 or 3. I had to make me something to eat when I got home, and I had to unload all my stuff from the car because my friend had to leave this morning. So I had to make sure everything was out of her car so she could leave, and stuff like that.
You are a brave man.
How many uppers you take? What?
Thank you, Kyle.
See, that's a level of dedication that I can give credit for Rob, because
he was like he was also this time it was only like 10 hours, 11 hours. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So here's how I look at it: is if the con is 10 hours, to me that's more doable, because if you look at my trips last year, Chicago, Dragon Con, Lexington, all those were 8 to 9 hours apiece. So an extra hour. And I will say, Phase on Love, I know appreciated that because one of the voice actors, I guess, went to dinner with him. I found this out on Saturday. Went to dinner with him and said, "Hey, buddy, you were talked about last night by Faison, and he appreciated that you drove 10 hours for this convention. Like, they were giving me back the details, and I told Faison." And he's like, "You were one of the." I got told that I was one of the things that helped his experience at this convention, and it's his first. Nice. So, I mean, it's important to show that his character is important, and a con can make or break somebody. It can be like, "Oh, I don't like these. I'm never going back." So, Rob tried his best.
For a lot of actors and actresses, the convention circuit is kind of like the last hurrah. I think a lot of it as like, "Oh, well, I have no work coming up. There's nothing on the schedule. There's nothing sequel-wise. There's nothing new. So let me just rest on my laurels and sit at this desk and sign autographs."
Well,
there was a
look at it that way.
A stopgap to other things. Because I remember seeing people at cons where, they eventually picked up and went on to other things shortly after. So, I
Mhm.
mean, the con isn't necessarily the end of things.
Right.
Well,
Or you
it's
could
funny.
do this, they want to. Sorry, Scott. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
I was going to say Tom Wilson, who's best known as Biff Tannen.
Yes.
He switched more into like stand-up comedy, and he had a song about going to conventions.
Yep.
And there was one where he's sitting there, he's singing about it, and he's next to a guy from Planet of the Apes, not the reboot series, not the movies, but the TV show. And the guy,
Well, back when Star Wars Force Awakens came out, around that same time, we had Billy D. Williams
yeah,
show up at I think it was Monster Mania here in Jersey. I didn't get to actually record the interview, but I did get to ask him. So, what's the possibility of them bringing Lando back? He's like, I hadn't heard anything, but I can always hope. And lo and behold, third movie, we got Orlando.
and he
And
hits
that
on both
was-
someone who may or may not be his daughter at the end of the movie.
That was because of, unfortunately, because of Carrie Fisher passing away.
Yes, but that's the thing. It's like I don't want people to think that just because they're seeing someone at a convention that they're washed up.
Right.
That's not-
Or the word like somebody told me when I told them all the actors I meet at conventions, they're like, so you're going to a has-been convention? I'm like, no.
And enough. Like, realistically, no. It's not a has-been convention.
No.
It's not none of that. It's pretty much something that they do to get back to the fans.
Yes.
Mm.
That's-
Bide your time until the next
and
project.
Yeah.
Faison, I will say, was a perfect example because and the voice actor asked me this because he's like, did Faison reply to your comment on Instagram and basically say he would sign any of your stuff for free? He's like, that's not, he's like, Faison, do you understand how these conventions work? And yes, Faison signed a couple he signed my graduation puppy, and it was a really good event. Shout out to Butch Hartman, the creator of the Fairly Odd Parents was there. He signed my graduation puppy, so that was pretty cool. And yeah. And one quick story I want to say, I know we're about to wrap up because it is getting time, is the coolest thing that happened to me at this convention. So are you all aware of the Fairly Odd Parents?
Yes.
Yes.
So Cosmo, two quick things. So I got to sing the theme song with Cosmo and Wanda. We didn't record it, but I sang the theme song with the Fairly Odd Parents. So that was really cool. But I was in the room where there was these Walking Dead people. I'm leaving the room, and I overhear a conversation. It was one of the guests there, Diane. I think Franklin is her last name. She made the comment saying, "My husband wrote the Fairly Odd Parents." My ears perked, and I said, "I don't mean to interrupt, but what did you just say? Who's your husband?" And she's like, "He's a writer." I was like, "Does he do cons?" She said, "No, but he's in town." I'm like, "Can you get him to this convention?" She said, "I will force him to come Sunday so he can meet you." And then I got to meet him on Sunday and got, I have a cast signed Fairly Odd Parents print that I was able to get him to sign. And so that was one of the highlights, besides obviously Faison Love, but that was one of the things that just doesn't happen because he was one of the nicest people.
Right.
And yeah, but yes, so thank you very much for letting me talk about PensCon.
Yeah, as I have to sit there and mop up that with Julio in the background after you just trash them on air.
Hey, you told me I could talk all I want, but
look, if he wants to have that kind of fandom for Faison Love, that's fine. I've seen Faison sex video, and that's a half hour I'll never get back. So, I didn't know he made one.
On that note, ladies,
Good night, everybody.
on that note, hey guys, I'm Buddy the Elf. That's Day. That's Ryan. And that's Scott. I know him. Woo!
I've seen too much of him.
Later, guys.